किरन्ति मङ्गेभ्यः किरणनिकुरुम्बामृतरसम् किरन्ति मङ्गेभ्यः किरणनिकुरुम्बामृतरसम् हृदि त्वामाधत्ते हिमकरशिलामूर्तिमिव यः ससर्पाणां दर्पं शमयति शकुन्ताधिप इव ज्वरपृष्ठान् दृष्ट्या सुखयति सुधाधारसिरया.
Beautiful, ma. Kiranti mangebhyah kirana nikurumbam amritarasam. Kirana nikurumba amritarasam. Hriditva madhatte himakara shila murtim ivayah. Sasarpanam darpam shamayati shakuntadhipa iva jvaraplushtan drishtya sukhayati sudadhara siraya. So if you break the words, goes as kirantim angebhyah, from the body of Parashakti, kirana rays, nikurumba, many rays of amrita rasam is flowing. Nectar is flowing from Devi's body. This is how we visualize. In the previous sloka, we visualized her head was on the top of her feet was on the top of her head, and the Sudadhara was flowing through from her feet, right? So here the nectar is flowing from her body. That's the visualization. Hridi tvam adhatte, in one's heart, when they fixate you, O mother, like this, himakara shila, moonstone, Chandrakantamani. When they fixate you there, in their heart, like an idol, which means murti, as not on the outside, not visualizing you on the outside, but visualizing you within themselves. Then yaha saha sarpanam, so yaha is in the previous murtim iva yaha saha sarpanam darpam shamayati, destroys the pride of snakes, shakuntadhipa iva, as though he is the lord of birds, like how Garuda is able to Garuda, the eagle, the lord eagle god, Garuda is able to very easily pray over the sarpa. In the same way, this person who is able to visualize mother in this form will get the ability to do that. And Jvaraplushtan drishtya, just by a look of such a person's eyes, Jvaraplushtan, one who is suffering from fever, his fever will be gone. Jvaraplushtan drishtya sukhayati sudadhara siraya. So such a person who's meditating upon mother in this form, as she is this made of this moonstone in the moonstone idol, and rays of amrita is flowing from her, visualizing her like that in one's heart and constantly meditating upon that form in the heart, it allows this individual to obtain the ability to ride over the fear of snakes. That is one aspect of looking at it. The second is, by his drishti, somebody who is suffering from fever is cured. That is what the word meaning of the shloka is. Now, what is the process of meditation here? The process of meditation is to meditate, visualize. So Adi Shankara is providing us a visual aid of how to visualize on Devi in the form of, so whatever form of Devi that you can visualize, whichever form that is pleasing to us, be it Kamakshi, Meenakshi, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Katyayini, Kanyakumari, whatever form of Devi that appeals to us, you visualize that form of Devi as Parashakti. Whatever form that is pleasing to us, that form you scale it up as Parashakti, as the mother of this whole universe, and you bring her in your heart, and there you visualize that Devi is there is a form of that Devi in your heart, sculpted in moonstone, grayish white in color, whitish gray in color, moonstone. And in that, from that moonstone, that Devi, or that the Parashakti, that form of Devi, is emanating in all directions, front, back, left, right, up, down, in all the directions. It is emanating nectar, light, healing light. Nectar means what? Nectar is energy. In this case, this Amritam here is not Panchamritam. This Amritam here is not Panchamritam. Amritam here means nectar in probably in the form of light or energy or sensation or feeling, emotion, whatever. So it is just expressing out of that form of mother which is within me, in that form of the idol. And what is happening, what he says, is the advantage of doing such a meditation when we visualize mother in that form. Hari Om Shri Vidya Ji. Hari Om. So he's saying that in that form, when we visualize mother, the individual obtains an ability to do what? Sarpanam darpam shamayati. He is able to quell the pride of snakes. Okay. And a lot of times it is said in Saundarya Lahari, there are some of these benefits that one obtains. Really, some of these siddhis one obtain by following some methods that is mentioned in the Saundarya Lahari, right? So if somebody does this kind of meditation, possibly they will have the ability to possibly get over the fear of snakes. They possibly may get it. We don't know. But for us, the more important thing is one will get the ability to control the energies that are flowing within oneself. See, snakes in the tantric form is symbol of energy. Even on Shiva, there are a lot of snakes that are coiled around Shiva's arms. What is the first line of the Panchakshari, Shiva Panchakshari? Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya. Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya. So he has got Naga as garlands all over him. So he will have this thing, the kada on the hand as a small serpent on both arms. Then here on the shoulder, on the bicep areas, he will have serpents coiled around. On the neck, he will have a serpent coiled around. So it is a representation of various energies which he has mastered over. So, serpent or a snake in Tantra, in in um, in Kundalini Yoga, it is usually the symbolism of energy within us. So what he is saying here is that individual will have the ability to destroy the Sarpa's pride, means he will be able to control the various energies in his body. Because a lot of times we are not generally in control of the various energies that flow within our body, right? Which means when we are able to, for example, you do some kind of meditation. A lot of people would have experienced this. You do some form of meditation, suddenly you'll get some feeling, something in the spine, something in the body, something somewhere will happen. And then sometimes you may feel good, sometimes it may feel funny, sometimes you don't know what that feeling is. All of these things are happening because that energy is not, you're not managing that energy. You don't know how to manage the energy. It is not managed within us. And so we are, and this is also important whenever there is this whole Kundalini Yoga they talk about, and in the previous shlokas also Adi Shankara spoke about the Sri Chakra and the Kundalini rising and all of that. It is important to notice that this rising should not happen in an haphazard manner. It should not happen in a haphazard manner. It is a big problem. In fact, when sometimes it happens so it's said like this: if you do some strange meditations or strange pranayama or strange things without proper guidance, or if you chant some bijaksharas, for example, you pick up some bijakshara because you like it. You pick up Panchadasakshari, Shodashi, or this thing or that thing, or some Aim, Kleem, Shreem. You pick up some of these bijaksharas and you keep chanting without being properly instructed into it, how much you should chant, whatever. If you're not clear in that method of proper instruction of doing it, it's possible these energies can go and get locked up in strange nadis within the body. Okay. Now, the whole energy nadis are essentially, there are 72,000 nadis, right? That is what the Shastras tell us. There are 72,000 nadis, means there are 72,000 energy channels or paths within a body. And nadis are not seen. Nadis are not nerves necessarily. Nadis are energy paths, the paths through which energy flows in the body. And these nadis are important. In fact, you go to an Ayurveda doctor first, first thing he will check is your nadi. Nadi Shodhana. He will first come and check your nadi to see. They're trained and they understand to identify which channels within your body is blocked. They'll be able to know. இதை தொட்ட உடனே அவளுக்கு தெரியும், உங்களுக்கு முதுகுல எங்கேயோ இது இருக்கு, or காலில் எங்கேயோ உங்களுக்கு முட்டில வலி இருக்கு, அப்படி whatever. So some of these things they will also very, very adept Ayurvedic professionals will be able to tell some thing that you had many years ago. Maybe you did a surgery in this part of your stomach, right? Correct. Same with Reiki. For those masters who did it the proper way, they can find energy blocks. Correct. Kalpaka is saying. Correct. Reiki also works with the whole idea of energy management. So when you go to these doctors, they will be able to check where your energies are blocked, and based on that, they will recommend what you should do. So now what happens is, this is our day-to-day lives. But if you take up to some practices, specific practices, like you're using some sounds and some mantras and some chants, and you're just going on of a rocker within you, then it's possible that these energies can get interlocked in some strange places. And a lot of times if suppose some teacher tells you and you do something and then something happens and you go to a different teacher, usually the other teacher will say, the teacher who gave you this, go and ask him. Usually அப்படிதான் சொல்லுவா. They will even uh, so it's usually that way. If a particular teacher has taught someone to do and then you've done it, you've exceeded it, or you've done whatever strangely, and something's gone wrong, and if you go to somebody else, they'll say, go to the original teacher who taught this and get it fixed with them. And this is very possible. A lot of people I have seen, heard, and in fact, many years ago, I had a friend who tried something like this, and he said his body was jumping. And when he would sleep, he would keep having visions of snakes. So these things have happened. I mean, it is a person I know firsthand. I've heard this. So that is because this guy did something very intensely. His teacher would have told him to like 108 times, he would have gone ahead and done 1,000 times. Just because a lot of times it happens to us, right? We become excited. We think that just by doing more, suddenly everything will become great immediately. Correct? இது அது சொல்லுவாங்க, நம்ம எக்கச்சக்கமா ஸ்வீட் சாப்பிட்டாலும் திகட்டும், கான்ஸ்டிபேஷன், இது வயிறு கெட்டு போகும். Problems that you'll not be able to digest because your system is not prepared to manage the energies that move through your body. So it is very important to do it with the right kind of guidance, right? There are a lot of times there are people who get sick, ill, or they get different manifestations of different things within their body. And it's not that does everybody require to be guided and trained and all that. May not be. If you're willing to experiment and face the consequences, can go ahead. What will happen if you start getting hallucinations? People get such thing. I told you, right? This person, the friend I knew, it took him a while for that person to come back to some normal senses. He would have dreams of snakes, and not as a pleasant experience. You're getting dreams of snakes, you're playing with it, na paravala. You're getting dreams and then it causes you anxiety and fear, then there is a problem. So things like this will happen. People will get different kinds of hallucinations. They will see things that possibly comes from somewhere within them, from their past consciousness. Some hidden vasanas or consciousness may open up. Some doors may open up and some things will come out, and they will not be entirely prepared to understand that there is this connection between this and this. So he is providing us with a method to concentrate, and he says, if you concentrate on Mother in this form, in your heart, and heart is very important because a lot of times what we forget is in the process of gaining something, we're wanting to gain something, right? Either I want siddhis, I want powers, I want to be able to see God. So we get into those anxious agitations within us, thinking that if I do this like just so many number of times, suddenly some Lord will appear and stand in front of me. So what we lose there is the point of devotion. And heart is the center for devotion. And he is saying that meditate upon the heart. Meditate this form in the heart, because in devotion, you also surrender. A very important aspect of devotion is that devotion is there only when there is an attitude of surrender. So which means I do. So for example, and if we get excited to do some of this, we do it for a stipulated number of times, And then rest of the days you think about it. It's okay. For example, if somebody gets a bijakshara or a bija mantra or whatever this, you do that, you do that for a stipulated period of time. 208 times, maybe once a day or 2 times a day. And rest of the day you can think. You can think about stories. You can think about Devi Bhagavatam. You can think about Bhagavad Gita. You can think about Srimad Bhagavatam. You can think about stories of Puranas. You can think about the Upanishadic Vakyas. All of that you can keep, your mind can keep thinking about these things. It's not a problem. Which means you're generating more and more devotion towards the scriptures, towards your Ishta Devata, towards your Guru. You're generating more and more devotion. So devotion, and you can also visualize your Ishta like this in your heart. So when you visualize in the heart, you're generating more devotion. Then Bhagavan Adi Shankara is saying, then such a person will have the ability to manage his energies. Sarpanam darpam shamayati. He is able to quell the pride of the snakes. Snakes are these energies. So these energies can go in whatever, wherever in your body, within your psychic system. That is the pride of the snake. The way he is presenting it in a poetic way, he's saying the pride of the snake is that the energy within the body moves in whatever direction it likes. But such a person who is able to bring mother into his heart, his or her heart, and visualize that she is sending out these rays of amritam, rays of light, bliss from that form, then such a person, the energies will not rise in random ways. And how is saying Shakunta Adhipa Iva. Shakunta Adhipa is the is Garuda. How Garuda na paatha odne paambal onnu panna mudiyadhu. Paambu has to submit itself to Garuda. Between eagle and snake, it's always the eagle that will predominantly win. Of course, if the eagle is going to go catch an anaconda, it's a different story. The anaconda has the ability to smash the eagle. But otherwise, in most normal cases, serpents, Garuda or the eagle is coming, the serpents have to submit. So in that form, this person will be like the Garuda, this individual who is visualizing mother in this form. And then he goes further on to say, Jaraplushtan, so one who is suffering. So such a person, when he lays his eyes upon another, Jaraplushtan drishtya sukhayati sudadhara siraya. So when he lays his eyes upon another, just by his drishti, he will be able to cure someone from fever and will also be able to experience the flow of bliss. So he's cured from fever and also sudhadhara, the flow of bliss within his veins, within his nadi. So now this particular line can also be constituted or can be understood for one's own self. It's not that you have to see somebody else. Even within you, when you meditate upon mother in this form, your energies will be in control. And because of the energy rise, there is a possibility of fever. Fever means heat generated. See, I don't know how many of you experience this. When you do meditation, intense meditation, there's a lot of heat that is generated. A lot of heat gets generated. If you really put yourself, sit down 2 hours morning, 2 hours evening, dhyanam pandradhellam, ad marilam pannona, if you do that kind of dhyanam, heat will get generated. Your mouth will become dry. You will get some kind of punnallam varum vaayila. You'll get some ulcers in the mouth. The body heat will go up inside, within your body. because a certain Agni is being constantly, the Chitagni is being constantly fueled through the process of meditation and mantras. So usually they will say that keep nallenna, gingerly oil, keep nallenna on the top of your head. Ariya nallenna inga vekka solluva. Or another way is gargle gingerly oil. So you can take a couple of spoonfuls of gingerly oil in your mouth, gargle the gingerly oil in the mouth and spit it out. So then the temperature or this heat, it may not appear as temperature on the outside, but there's heat that will get generated. So this heat will possibly reduce. So Bhagavan is saying this particular fever that generates from within, when the Shakti rises, when the energies rise. See, because why is he saying this is, if you go back in the previous shlokas and all, he is trying to give us all ways where he's giving meditation on Sri Chakra, meditation on Devi. So there are many meditations he is offering by which there is a possibility of something like this can happen. Your energies will certainly go up. Nikshito Shat Panchashad Dusamadhika Panchashadudake Utashe Dvashashtihi Chaturadhika Panchashad Anile. So he's talking about the chakras, the various chakras, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi Agnya. So as it goes up, so all of these he is pointing, he's saying that now I have spoken about all of these methods or meditations that you do and how the energy consciousness rises through each of these chakras. Be careful that these energies may rise and may get it may move in different directions within you. And but when you bring, so suppose I say I am going to meditate upon the Mooladhara. Today, next 1 week, I am going to meditate upon Mooladhara. In the next 1 week, I am going to meditate upon Swadhisthana, then Manipuraka. Right? If YouTube lala, you can turn on something and then you'll get some lam, bam, ram, yam, hum, lam. I'll play pannite. He's saying, even if you happen to do all that, please do this. Bring mother into your heart. Visualize her there. Visualize that her healing energy is going out. And it is ensuring that these energies don't get locked up here and there. And as part of the energy, as part of consciousness rising within us, as part of understanding rises within us, as part of perception, our perception starts becoming more clearer. When it starts rising within us, there will be a certain heat that will be generated in this process. And that heat will also be cured. Jaraplushtan drishtya sukhayati. And then what you do, you allow that Sudadhara to flow through you. Sudadhara sarehi Sharana Yugalantar Vigalitehi. There's one other shloka that was there. So you let the Sudadhara, the dhara or the flow or the stream of honey. Honey is what? In this case, honey is the rays that are coming out from mother in form of light, in form of healing energy. That is the dhara. And in form of joy and bliss also. When we are in certain stages of meditation, this joy will start rising up. And in fact, a lot of times that joy just rises up and you feel like you want to rush and go and tell it to somebody you want to share. It'll be like that. It'll just be, the joy will just be rising up. All that you do is, that is also her grace. It is her grace that that joy is rising up within us. So there whenever that's happening, immediately we should, very important, what happens is, a lot of times we go into this feeling that, oh, I've achieved something. All of these things are very important to know, that these are all phenomenon. These are phenomenal experiences. These are not the stable state. The joy that one experiences in the stable state is not something that will come and go. In the stable state, the joy will always be there. So something that comes when we are meditating and doing something that comes, remember, it's a beautiful experience to show that something like this exists. This kind of joy can be touched, it can be experienced. அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு. It's very important in spiritual journeys or sadhana. One, we have to remember not to get excited about the experiences that we get. Extremely important. Not to get excited and not to try to achieve the same thing again. Very important. So here, for that he is saying, Hridi adatte, Hridi ha adatte, is a fix mother in your heart. Himakarashila murtim iva. Fix mother in your heart. And when you fix her in your heart, then all of these experiences that will come, then remember, either the Guru Paduka or the Guru himself or Devi or whatever form, bring into your heart. The moment you bring it into your heart, then you know that there is something else that is taking over you. And then you know, you're telling yourself that it's not me, I'm letting that thing take over me. Otherwise, the mind is very tricky. The mind will say that, oh, I have achieved this state. I have got this state. I am able to experience this. I am able to see this thing, that thing, and the other. It's not, we should not dwell too much upon it. Right? Because we need to get to a state where this whole journey is progressive. Takkunu jump panna, takkunu viduvom. Possibilities of falling down is much greater if we make a sudden jump. We progressively go through our own journey, through our own constitution, the way we are structured, our own, the way prarabdha is, the way our grace works for us, the way the sadhana that we do, the way we keep our minds throughout the day and night, then it will slowly, progressively come to a stage where there is this stability in this joy or understanding. You know, even and we may still have experiences, but the experiences won't excite you. It won't give you that excitement saying, oh, I have this thing, that thing. Every 3 days, Devi is coming to me. Every 4th day, Shiva is coming to me. Ramanar Gitta vandu Papa Ramdas illa, what's his name? Harilal Punja, one of his very famous disciples. He was known as Papaji. He goes to him and he says, Ramana Maharshi Gitta, Tiruvannamalai, he goes. And he tells him, Bhagavan Ramana, like this, I am every day, Krishna is coming and playing with me. Krishna is coming, sitting with me, playing with me. I go up to the Tiruvannamalai hill, he's there, he's coming, sitting, playing, talking to me and all that. But he then vanishes. Then later sometime he comes again and then he plays and he goes. But when he comes, it's so joyful. But he vanishes, Ramana. How do I bring him back? So when he is there, I'm enjoying. But when he's gone, he's vanished. I'm waiting for him to come. So Ramana tells him one simple thing. He says, Krishna comes. Krishna is there with you. Krishna goes. Krishna again comes. Krishna plays with you. Krishna goes. In this whole process, who is there? Is Krishna always there or you are always there? You are always there, right? So he says, drop that Krishna. Hold on to this I. Ramanar Gitta, somebody asks, Bhagavane, திருவண்ணாமலை சிவனே இப்போ வந்தாருன்னா உங்களுக்கு நேரா, if Shiva, Lord Shiva comes right in front of you, what will you ask him? What will you tell to him? Then he says in Tamil, he says, இந்த வரப்போற வேலையெல்லாம் என்கிட்ட வச்சுக்காத அப்படின்னு. Ravana says, don't play these games of coming and going with me. So anything that is coming will go. Anything that will go probably will sometime come. So these experiences are like that. They'll come, they'll go, they'll come, they'll go. But one that is watching these experiences, we should hridi adhatte, we should hold that in the heart and know that from there everything is, all the rays of light and bliss and joy is coming from there. Okay, so that is the 20th shloka. So we'll pause with this. Kiranti mangebhyah kirana nikurambamritarasam hridi tvamadhatte himakarashila murtimivayah sasarpanam darpam shamayati shakuntadhipaiva ज्वरप्लुष्टान् दृष्ट्या सुखयति सुधाधारसिरया. ॐ कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि. जगदम्बिकायै इति समर्पयामि. सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि. हरि ओं तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. हरि ओम.